Okay, welcome back for our weekly presser. You just heard about an interesting briefing about the PBD. Before I go on to the regular questions, I just have a small announcement to make. We announced yesterday the visit of the strategic dialogue with France, which was led by Mr. Emmanuel Bon, the diplomatic advisor to the French president. Just to a little more advance on that, I can confirm that India and France today held the 36th strategic dialogue in New Delhi. The Indian delegation was led by National Security Advisor Shri Ajit Doval, while the French delegation was led by the visiting diplomatic advisor, as I just mentioned, Mr. Emmanuel Bon. The two sides held discussions on a variety of issues, of course, including the current global security situation in the context of the conflict in Ukraine, regional security in the context of Afghanistan, counter-terrorism, cyber security, defense cooperation in the Indo-Pacific, besides other issues of mutual concern. The dialogue has just got over. Mr. Bond has subsequently, I think, is meeting or has just met the External Affairs Minister. He is scheduled to call on Prime Minister a bit later, and then thereafter he will be meeting our G20 Sherpa, because as Mr. Bond is also himself the G20 Sherpa for France. So Shri Amitabh Kant will host him for a meal, I think, later in the evening, and then I think Mr. Bond leaves either late tonight or tomorrow morning. So I just wanted to give an update on that. With that, I'm happy to take a few questions. Oh my God, lots of queries. I saw you first this time, so let me start with you. Okay. Okay. Microphone.
Sir, I'm Abhishek Jha from CNN News 18. My question is regarding Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's tweet, and also
What tweet?
where he has said about this self-determination right for Kashmiris today. And also Foreign Minister of Pakistan Bilawal Bhutto has also talked about plebiscite and it should happen in Kashmir. So your take on that?
Supplementaries. Parliament question. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
सर शैलेंद्र न्यूज़ 18 से अभिषेक ने जो सवाल पूछा उससे जुड़ा हुआ सवाल है कि इसके साथ ही पाकिस्तानी कैंपेन भी चला रहा है सोशल मीडिया को लेकर, उनकी एम्बेसीज और उनके जो सोशल मीडिया इन्फ्लुएंसर्स हैं वो लगातार इस तरह के प्रोपेगेंडा ट्वीट्स को रिट्वीट कर रहे हैं ताकि इसको एक कैंपेन के तौर पर चलाया जा सके। इस पर क्या कहें?
इस पे क्या व्यू है? अच्छा, मतलब आपने कुछ स्पेसिफिक पूछा नहीं, कैंपेन कर रहे हैं, ठीक है। अच्छा, सॉरी, आई हैड अ फ्यू अदर हैंड्स, वन सेकंड. Okay, Siddharth, I'll go for you. I'll come back this time.
Sir, Siddharth from Vion. So we have seen a visit of an Israeli minister to the compound Al-Aqsa Mosque. What is the reaction of India regarding that? We have seen global reactions coming in saying that this can escalate the situation there.
That sounded like a reporter's question. Anyway, Yashi, I'll come back to you. I'll get one by one. Yeah, Yashi, go ahead.
Yashi Seri from the New Indian Express. What is the status of these 8 former naval officers in Qatar? 5 bail pleas have been rejected, and no charges have been framed up till now. So what's the update?
Okay. I'll take one more. Who was, I saw a hand. Yeah, why don't you go ahead? Yeah, please. I'll come back to you, Sudhir.
Vineet Dixit from Newsgate. Sir, there's a report by WHO. China is underrepresenting facts regarding COVID situation in their country. What is our view on that?
Okay, so let me take this round of questions unless there's anything related to these, and then I'll take a few more. अभिषेक एंड देन शैलेंद्र जी, आपने भी वही उसी के बारे में एग्जैक्टली आपका सवाल क्या था, मुझे वो कैंपेन कर रहे आपने मुझे इन्फॉर्म किया, मैंने सुन लिया. You have raised the issue, Abhishek, on something that I think our position has been clarified multiple times, but however, since you would like to raise it again, look, as regards the issue of Jammu and Kashmir, the fact that Jammu and Kashmir is an inalienable and integral part of India, I think we have reiterated God knows how many times on this forum. In specific, as Article 370, which also there's a reference to, I think, in some of the comments, social media, as we have said earlier, again, a number of times, these are entirely a matter of India, as well as our constitution, and it's a sovereign matter, so we do not see what is the locus on this, and such interference, it does not help at all. And it does not succeed. Similarly, शैलेंद्र जी, अगर कोई कैंपेन चल रहा है इस तरह से सोशल मीडिया, तो ट्रेंडिंग एक दिन का हो गया तो उससे आई डोंट थिंक कोई फ़र्क पड़ेगा. तो रियलिटी है और हमारा जो इस तरह का नज़रिया है इस पर. Moving on, Siddhant, you mentioned this about a visit by a Israeli political person, a political leader, to Al-Aqsa Mosque, Temple Mount. Look, let me emphasize our larger point here, which is on the issue of the Palestine question. Our position on the Palestine question has been clear and consistent. We are committed to supporting all efforts to resume direct negotiations between the Israelis and Palestinians to achieve a two-state solution that might lead to establishing a sovereign, independent, and a viable state of Palestine living side by side in peace with Israel. That also takes into account Israel's legitimate security concerns. And we have reiterated this position, so I think beyond that, I don't have anything else to say in the context of the question that you asked. Yashi, moving on to Doha, I think you also have been raising this question quite often, and we also tried to give you updates as we have them. I don't have any particular specific update except to say that, yes, if you remember last week when we were discussing, we just got the second round of consular access. That did take place. Our embassy officials in Doha met all 8 Indian nationals. They confirmed their well-being and rendered necessary consular assistance. Since then, some family members from India have recently traveled and met their family members who have been detained. The visit and meetings of more family members to Qatar is being facilitated. And of course, our embassy in Doha is continuing to pursue the matter. And this is a matter which of high priority for us. I wouldn't like to comment on the legal process. As I said, that you will have to ask the Qatari authorities. That's all I have from our perspective. Vineet, you asked about a report by WHO or something like that, or China is reporting. That's what he said, right? Look, I have no particular information to say one way or the other. I have, in the past, emphasized that we hope that everybody is able to come out, humanity as a whole is able to come out of this COVID situation. We have encouraged all countries, including us, we closely coordinate with WHO and to share experiences and help the world prepare better with sharing of information as well as details. But without any additional information, I would not be able to comment on it. But I do hope that countries will coordinate closely with WHO and share necessary information so that we can come out of COVID faster. Okay, let me take the next round of questions. You raised your hand. I missed you last time.
सर, मैं मधुरेंद्र न्यूज़ नेशन से। इंडिया फ्रांस स्ट्रेटजिक जो डायलॉग की जानकारी आपने दी उससे जुड़े मेरे 2 सवाल हैं। एक तो इंडो पैसिफिक को लेकर क्या विशेष बातचीत हुई, उसके बारे में अगर कुछ डिटेल जानकारी आप दे पाएँ, और राफेल एम की डील को लेकर जो बातचीत चल रही है थ्रू इवन फ्रेंच मीडिया, उस पर अगर आप फ्रांस की मीडिया में तमाम खबरें हैं कि राफेल एम भारत खरीदने जा रहा है। जाहिर है कि आज बातचीत हुई है तो उस मुद्दे पर भी बातचीत हुई होगी, अगर कुछ जानकारी आप साझा कर पाएँ।
Okay, Sudhi.
So, Shruti Ranjan from Bloomberg. So, on the strategic dialogue, can you confirm whether Navy-to-Navy cooperation or increased Navy-to-Navy cooperation between the two countries were discussed, and if anything new is being planned? Okay. And also, India and France are talking to each other to co-develop a jet engine. Did this figure in the dialogue?
Okay, this is a very tricky one, getting beyond my capacity. Okay, next, who else had a hand up? I thought, 1 second. I saw your hand and then I'll come to, yeah, go ahead.
So, I'm Shailesh from National Defense. Chinese have built 2 mobile towers in Changla and 1 mobile tower in Chogala, which is Indian territory as per the revenue records. And there have been some constructions in Longma Sarding, that is also Indian territory as per the revenue records. Have we lodged protest or have we raised the issue with the Chinese? Because these are the areas in Damchok and Koil surrounding Indus. So this is a very serious issue, and I have got some pictures, I've accessed some pictures as well of the mobile towers and the constructions out there.
Your question was?
Have we raised this issue? Because it's an Indian territory, mentioned in Indian revenue records, allegedly.
Thank you. That was a nice one. No, I saw one more hand here before I come to you. I'll come to you. But somebody else had a hand raised. You, yes, please.
Sir, B.Ed Bhattacharya from Ajkal. What are the situation of 426 Pakistani Hindus who want to Asti Visarjan in Ganga? Is there any decision to give them visas or not?
Okay, Srinja.
So this is a very curious case. There are 3 Russians who are middle-aged, and all 3 of them died for various reasons in, of all places, Orissa. Now, and in a matter of 10 days.
I'm itching to say something. You're objecting to middle age, you're objecting to Odisha. I wasn't sure which one I should answer.
Now, can you tell us if if the Indian government or even the state government has been in touch with the Russian authorities
fair enough.
on this issue? Because it's very unusual that 3 deaths of 3 foreign nationals, all of whom were not very unwell, suddenly die in 10 days in
no, I got your question.
a certain part of India.
I got the context of your question. Okay, fair enough. Somebody else, I saw a hand. Yeah, I'll take that as the last one. Nobody else, I'll close it with this. Now you have some more questions. Then can I come back to you perhaps? Let me just try, because I already have 4 or 5 questions. Madhurendraji and Sudhi, you asked about this ongoing Indo-Afghan strategic dialogue. Look, the problem of answering something in the middle of the day when the dialogue is still going on is a bit tricky. And I haven't been part of these conversations, and we are here. So let me just repeat what I have to say and not try to speculate. I did specifically mention defense cooperation in the Indo-Pacific. At this point, let me limit it that. Obviously, the larger context of various aspects of that would have been discussed. I am not going to be in a position to confirm whether a particular deal or contract has been discussed or not. We'll have to wait for a readout or ask the Ministry of Defense. Sudhi, you mentioned about Navy to Navy connect. Look, we did discuss, discussions did take place on issue of deeper collaboration in the Indo-Pacific and generally on defense cooperation. I would assume that Navy to Navy would have come in. But again, the meetings are still going on, External Affairs Minister, then with the Prime Minister, and so on and so forth. I don't think it would be appropriate for me to comment on, and I certainly would not be in a position to talk about details like co-development. I think these are perhaps best answered by Ministry of Defense or other agencies on India-France. We have made I think earlier in the past, during other visits or other interactions with France, our interest on both sides to develop greater defense cooperation, including co-development, co-production, etc. But on specific elements, I wouldn't like to, or I wouldn't be in a position right now to say anything. Shailesh, I'm at loss to answer your question. If you feel these are something very new or information in terms of our land having been taken over, I think I'm not the right person to convey. I hope you shared it with the appropriate authorities. All I can say is, look, I think I have a lot of faith in our armed forces, in able to defend our territory. As regards the larger issue of where the line of actual control is and the discussions, we have been briefing you, our discussions with China and the regular contacts that are happening at the diplomatic as well as at the military or the joint diplomatic military in some cases. And those are the mechanisms under which our concerns about Chinese activities are conveyed and ways how we can get back to a degree of normalcy, a disengagement, a de-escalation in the border. I'm not able to say whether these mobile towers are in parts controlled by us. We certainly have, as you know, from our maps, claim a large amount of territory, which we feel is ours. It's an illegal occupation of China. If it's happening there, so you're saying revenue records, etc. This is not the opportunity or the location to discuss, India-China boundary talks. So I would stop here. Which part in Hindi? The question itself I wasn't. नहीं देखिए आप this part in Hindi ऐसा कुछ है नहीं कहने के लिए. हमारी जो पोजीशन है भारत और चीन के बीच में जो हमारे बाउंड्री टॉक्स के बारे में है, हम आपको टाइम टू टाइम बता रहे हैं और इसको डिप्लोमेटिक लेवल पे भी या मिलिट्री साइड पे भी डिस्कशन चल रही हैं. और ये जो उन्होंने कुछ जिक्र की, कुछ मोबाइल टावर्स बने हैं भारतीय टेरिटरी में, मैं ये सिर्फ कहना चाहता हूँ कि देखिए भारतीय टेरिटरी को हमारी पूरी आस्था और विश्वास है हमारे आर्मी और आर्म फोर्सेस पर कि वो डिफेंड करेंगे. और जो लार्जर इशू है कि हमारे बाउंड्री टॉक्स कहाँ होने चाहिए और क्या लाइन ऑफ एक्चुअल कंट्रोल किधर है और क्या परसेप्शंस हैं, इस पे ये ठीक उचित फ्रेम या प्लेटफॉर्म नहीं है जहाँ पे मैं इसको डिटेल में जा सकता हूँ. तो मैं इतना ही कहूँगा कि अगर कोई स्पेसिफिक इन्फॉर्मेशन है तो आप हमारे डिफेंस अथॉरिटी से भी शेयर कर सकते हैं, हमसे भी शेयर कर सकते हैं. पर ये जो कम्युनिकेशंस होते हैं या रेगुलर कॉन्टैक्ट्स रहते हैं चाइना के साथ, उसमें हम चाइनीज़ एक्टिविटीज़ पे जो भी हमें कंसर्न्स हैं हम उसमें कन्वे करते हैं. Mr. Biren, you raised the issue of 426. I don't know where you got the number from. There was an odd article I saw in a foreign journal where it said 426 visa. I don't know where you got that. If you've got the detail from somewhere, please share with us. I don't have such numbers, nor am I willing to comment on it. All I would like to say is that we have a visa which is given for exactly this, for the conducting the last rites, as well as for sharing the asthi in the Ganga or otherwise in India, those who wish to do so. And from time to time, depending on the case, such visas are issued by our High Commission. How many visas, or whether 426 have replied or not, I am not aware of it. I haven't seen any report to that effect. Srinjoy, your question, I would like to not comment on the strangeness or not. Let me stick to the facts as we know it. As you are aware, we spoke last time, or last couple of occasions, about unfortunate cases of deaths of 2 Russians in Odisha, on which there were 3 separate incidents actually, and at least 2 we talked about. And those cases, necessary investigation is being carried out by the Odisha police as per our laws. We are now aware of a death of a Russian sailor. We understand it is in international waters off the coast of Odisha, but we were checking. We understand that the body has or brought to Paradip port for necessary formalities which are being undertaken in such cases of deaths on a ship. And this will be handled by our appropriate laws governing such cases and deaths on ships. So I wouldn't like to link all of them nor look at it all together. It's a large country with a large number of foreigners visiting here. I think it's just the headlines has been caught on. I don't see any reason to link certainly this last one with the previous 2 cases where the investigation is still underway. I'll take a last round of question. Odisha government is conducting the investigation of, as regards deaths and what are the circumstances of that. If I have any update, we'll share with you. Okay, let me take a last round of questions. There were some people. Let me start with you.
So there have been reports that, Avinash from Asai Shinbun. There have been reports that G20 foreign ministers will be held on 1st and 2nd March in Delhi. Can you confirm this? And if so, sir, do you think this can be an opportunity for the Quad foreign ministers meeting as well?
What foreign ministers?
Quad
foreign ministers. Okay. There was one more hand here. Yes, please. Sorry, I interrupted you that time.
Yes, Aparajit Chakraborty from China Daily.
From?
Last week, China's new foreign minister, Pu Yingong, said, has written in an article in a magazine referring India-China relations. Both sides are willing to ease the situation and jointly protect peace along their borders. So what is your take on it?
You are from, you said, China?
China Daily.
Delhi, no? I heard China Daily, yeah.
And my second query is Nepal PM Dahal last week said, I had a conversation with the Indian Foreign Secretary. I think my first foreign visit will be from India. So
from India?
From India. My
to
first
India.
foreign visit to be from India.
I don't know what he said. You are quoting him. To India, from India?
From India.
I don't know, makes sense. What is your question? I didn't understand it.
Nepal PM said my first foreign visit to start from India.
Okay, fair enough.
So what would you say regarding Nepal's PM first foreign visit to start from India?
I don't know what to say. Okay, fair enough. I get your question. Okay, fair enough. Okay, since there are no further questions, let me close with that. Oh, you have a question? Second one, a third one, and he asked two. Go ahead. Microphone.
Related to G20, any plans to invite the Ukrainian President Zelensky? He had conversation with Prime Minister Modi and was very keen on essentially India playing an important role. So will we be inviting President Zelensky?
Okay. This is inviting him for summit.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm sorry if you, no use, it doesn't have, sorry. Do you want to ask a question? Okay. I'm being very generous today.
There are a series of meetings which are happening in Delhi about G20. There's a Chief Secretary's meeting going on. Do we have any update briefing?
Chief Secretary's
meeting? Yeah.
Okay. You're asking questions beyond foreign policy, so I'm a little worried answering that. Okay. I will stop here and take your, close with this round. Avinash, look, there is a G20 calendar that is announced from, as we go along. We have announced as yet the first 3 months, which is December, January, and up to end of February. So yes, this meeting that you are referring to has not yet been announced, so let me not confirm the exact details of that. But yes, there will be a foreign ministers meeting. We will host a G20 foreign ministers meeting as is customary. I think it will be in Delhi. That's the plan. But look, let's lock it in, and when it's appropriate, we will announce it. We will also try to announce other G20 meetings which take place as soon as we can extend the calendar, maybe for a month or two. But I'll have to talk to the G20 Secretariat. As regards the Quad meeting on the occasion, no, I haven't heard anything particular. I'm not even sure whether that's the right occasion to do it. But yeah, if we have an announcement on this regard, I'll get back to you. As of now, I don't have any information to share on that specific element. Aparajita Chakravarti, you asked about the new foreign minister designates, I think still designates, comments on, I think he just wrote a blog. I don't know how old the blog was. That's what you were referring to. Let me just make a short comment here. He's made it in a context or his capacity as ambassador. So it wasn't in his capacity as foreign minister. After he's announced, designate. Let me just say, look, you are aware of India's long-standing position that ensuring peace and tranquility in the border areas is essential for the development of our relationship. So too is the observance of bilateral agreements and refraining from unilateral attempts to change the status quo of the boundary. And so I think I'll just make that brief comment here, and let's wait for him to take over. But since you raised his comment in a blog, I thought I would make that comment. As regards a comment you alluded to, or a tweet you alluded to regarding the Prime Minister of Nepal, look, there has been a tradition on various occasions where the Prime Minister of Nepal visits India as his first foreign visit. He is most welcome to do so, I'm sure. I don't have any specific update on that as regards timing or anything like that. But if he would like to visit India, he's always welcome. So I don't think that is in question at all. On G20, look, I think, who asked this again? Sorry, you asked the question. Yes, I did, I think, brief you on the conversation of Prime Minister. We issued a press release on Prime Minister's conversation with President Zelensky. I don't know if any invitation or discussions happened on that regard. I certainly don't have any update to share about any special invitees for the summit. It's still some time away. But yes, G20 members and special invitee countries that we plan to invite have been announced. And I don't think Ukraine is on that one. If there is any change in that, I'll certainly come back and share with you on that. And what was the final question? Was that from you? You said lots of meetings are happening. Look, I think we're getting confused between G20 meetings as well as internal preparatory meetings. I think the two are very different. The G20 official meetings and their calendar will be shared. There are various levels of meetings. There are summit, there is a summit, there are ministerial meetings, there are the Sherpa meetings, then there are working group meetings, there are engagement group meetings, and we'll try to brief you separately as we go ahead. But I think Chief Secretary's meeting is a completely different topic, and that is the internal one. I think you saw Prime Minister brief, I think, Chief Ministers and Governors earlier. He spoke to maybe Chief Secretary. So that's an internal meeting. I think that's not the right place for me to comment on that. Thank you very much for being here today, and best wishes for 2023 as we start this year today with our first briefing.